Hi all, welcome to KNB Reviews channel. In this video, we are going to learn about important points to consider before choosing a web hosting. When you create a website, be it for work, pleasure, or a blog, you want it online 24/7. It's only possible if you choose a good hosting provider. Bad web hosting providers can lead to disaster. It's crucial to know what to look at when choosing a hosting provider. We will discuss the drawbacks of choosing a low quality provider, which is often very expensive. Points to consider when choosing a web hosting provider. Web hosting that is not up to standard can lead to many disadvantages, but they also create a considerable cost for your company that can be avoided with a thorough testing process. Web hosting providers can come with all the web enabled gadgets and appliances that you require to build a website, but you need to check whether the quality of web hosting will meet your needs. Here are 5 major reasons why you should pay attention to web hosting quality before starting to host your website on it. Poor quality. Several web hosts are notorious for the poor quality of services. Many web hosting companies create websites without properly checking for any potential security issues. Such companies also create websites that have a poor quality of web services or overcrowding web servers. Poor quality of web hosting services can also cause high transaction costs for your website and frequent need to upgrade the system. It may also lead to delay of the transactions or potential breach of sensitive data. Hence, your web hosting company should prove themselves secure. Low speeds. Web hosting services are also prone to slow delivery. Web hosting companies use special servers to load pages faster. However, web servers are prone to downtime. Web hosting companies use hardware and special servers that are under maintenance. These servers can get degraded or it may get so slow that they can barely load a web page. Similarly, they also produce unrefreshing web pages and complete the shutdown of the system. Your web hosting company should prove their reliability and do not disappoint. High costs. Web hosting is often a costly affair. It is wise to avoid web hosting companies that are known for high costs. Many web hosts provide web hosting services for cheap but do not provide quality, and it may lead to web applications slowing down and waste of precious money. High cost. Web hosting services have high costs. Most web hosting services use different hardware to load web pages fast. Some web hosts even use high quality hardware to give a good performance, but the prices for these high quality services are often beyond the reach of many small companies. Hacking issues. Web hosting companies are often more vulnerable to hacking and cyber attacks. Often, web hosting companies use their web servers to store massive amounts of data, which is another cause of hacking. Thus, web hosting companies should establish good security practices to prevent any hacking or damage of sensitive data from getting into the wrong hands. You can find additional information by searching the web for other articles and discussion forums. Frequent maintenance. A web hosting company should regularly upgrade their system to prevent possible failures that may cause high costs to fix. However, some web hosting companies usually get caught up in upgrading and fixing problems. They are unable to properly test the system to determine what would happen if something fails. This can leave your web hosting company high and dry with the low end of the hardware and system. How to choose a good provider before you go any further? Be aware that there are many different types of hosting. These include managed, dedicated, and VPS web hosting. When choosing a service provider, customer support is what you should be looking for. Although you might have a great host to work with, if your host isn't responsive to your needs, then what do you do? Many providers offer 24/7 support, but you won't get an instant response. Research is key. The second place would go to the uptime record. This is extremely important. While it would be impossible to ensure 100% uptime, I'd still choose hosts that have 95% or 99% uptime. The cost is another issue. A lot of providers are quite affordable. They can be a little unpredictable. Since you usually get what you pay for, it's better to choose a web hosting provider that costs a little bit more. If I was choosing a website to use, the ability for me to upgrade would be the last. If you are getting more visitors to your website, you want it to be able to handle them smoothly. You can have a lot of hard drive space, RAM. The following additional points will help you furthermore to understand the hosting provider if you research earlier. 1. Keyword matching to be able to find the websites which are most relevant to your search query in the first few seconds of searching. You need to find a web hosting company that uses powerful keyword technology. This is what most providers advertise, but at the end of the day, it's all marketing talk. A more effective solution would be to employ a simple keyword research tool like Google's Keyword Planner. Don't expect your hosting provider to be able to provide this service. Google is the no. One SEO, search engine optimization, company in the world, and even though it may not be considered a web hosting company itself, it does make extensive use of SEO techniques. 2. How the hosting provider behaves. Your web host should be helping you when it comes to the technical aspects of your website. Every minute, website owners spend an average of 48% of the time on the computers which are responsible for the website maintenance. The first line of defense should be the hosting company, not you. The second line of defense, which is not often seen, is the support available from the hosting provider. Most hosting companies, and even the big ones in the industry, have launched customer support for free. But you need to remember that your hosting provider is a business and a profit making enterprise that makes money by selling servers, email accounts, and other services. So be sure that they can provide a fast response time. 3. Return on investment. How quickly you can recover when your website goes down is also important. So do your research and figure out how many visitors each hosting provider gets a day and make sure that you get more than one third of that. 4. Bandwidth. Bandwidth is probably one of the most overrated features in a web hosting provider. They say all you need is bandwidth. But most of the time, the bandwidth is not enough. Look at the uptime of your website and make sure you get a host which can offer 100% uptime. You can read a more detailed comparison between one and HostGator here. 5. Price. There is always the option of getting a shared hosting plan, and that's a great idea. More than the cost, you should consider the data allowance. Free hosting with minimum bandwidth and bandwidth connection will never be enough. If you find a web hosting provider which gives you a web hosting plan which offers reasonable pricing and an internet connection speed of 100 Mbps, your server will be more than sufficient. This, coupled with free dedicated IP addresses, which you can use for your own website, gives you the necessary freedom to sell more of your services. 6. Choosing the correct plan. There are two different types of web hosting plans which are available. There are a set of standard plans which all hosting companies offer, and there are a few custom plans that are offered by a few companies. The general rule of thumb when it comes to choosing the right plan is to do your research on the hosting provider's website. Don't base your decision on one particular quote. Some companies will offer quotes without any fees at all, while others may ask you to pay a monthly fee. Some web hosting providers will offer you a web hosting plan without any annual fee, but others will offer you a range of annual and non annual plans. It's up to you to make your decision based on your business requirements. 7. Hosting control panel. Like in any other application, we get concerned when we don't know how things work. It's not uncommon for a company to make major changes to its web hosting control panel, which usually means that you will have to install updates, website cleaning, or other tools, which will cost you a few bucks every time you need them. Be sure that your host offers a control panel that is easy to use. Some hosting companies offer options such as an HTML5 control panel, which is a great move as most of us these days are ditching Flash and rely heavily on HTML5. You can see this in the Google web search results. 8. Website speed. If you do a little bit of research and speak to people who have visited your website, you will realize that they do not visit your website for the design or content. They visit your website because your website loads fast. That's why you have to research the hosting company and make sure they can offer a website that loads fast. There are many different factors that affect website loading speed. Some of them include 1. Bandwidth. A faster bandwidth is required for a website to load. Check the hosting provider's website, and you will be able to determine the type of bandwidth they are using. 2. Hardware. If you want your website to load faster, make sure that you invest in the latest hardware. If your hosting company can guarantee you top quality servers that you will be able to purchase, that's one thing. But the challenge is, how can you find out which company offers servers that have an excellent loading speed? The one that promises the best service usually takes care of the first and most crucial thing. But when you are in search of a cheap hosting plan, you are on your own. An excellent option would be to use Amazon Web Hosting, as they offer dedicated servers that provide a fast, reliable service with an affordable price tag. But if you want something that comes with extra features, you will have to spend more money, and you don't want that. There are always two sides to a coin, and your opinion should help you make the right decision. It's a good idea to talk to other people who are just starting out and work from their own sites. They will give you great tips and suggest you to ask the host for a quote and spend a little more to secure a better quality hosting plan. 9. E-commerce. E-commerce requires quick loading websites. While you want your e-commerce site to be popular, your business should not be your site. If you want to pay to run ads, be creative, but remember that those ads and ad networks will eat up your money. In other words, your money should go to your website. Most e-commerce sites are packed with widgets and other gimmicks that just slow down the loading speed of the page. Google also knows this and has rolled out a new algorithm that compresses some of the pages of your site to speed up the loading speed. Always remember that having a fast and reliable website is of utmost importance for any business. Conclusion. Overall, web hosting services have their advantages and disadvantages. You should choose a web hosting company that can meet your quality and performance standards. Ensure that they are able to offer you a reliable and secure web hosting service and experience the same. However, Do not forget to go through the details and consider the complete process of hosting and how it affects your daily activities. Thank you for watching and do not forget to subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon to get regular notifications when we upload videos. Hope you have enjoyed learning.